I'm working on the 52 Dodge here, and what I'm doing is getting ready to replace the steering rack here. This is a new rack I'm putting in. The rack that's in the vehicle currently has a pretty sizable leak, even when it's not running. And so the first thing I want to do is get a baseline measurement of the alignment. So what I did, I ran a string totally around the car, and I'm using wooden blocks here to space it evenly off the rim. So I've got it, the string going right along the center line of the wheel here. And same back here, all four wheels have the same spaced block on them here. And I'm just using a couple of bungee cords back here to tension the string, keep it taut. And so what I'm doing then, I go along here to the front, and I've got my steering wheel centered, and the car is in fairly good alignment. So I cut another block of wood here. This is my measurement block. It's a little bit larger than the other blocks, the space blocks, and I cut it by trial and error to get it to where it just does pass under the string on the rim on both sides evenly. And so I can keep these blocks and use them anytime I'm doing any kind of work on this car. This is my alignment, gets it generally in the ballpark. So I'm working on removing the steering rack. I've disconnected the high pressure line and the low pressure return from the rack, and that gave me access to this pin here. This is a drive pin that locks the splines to the steering drive. And then also remove these two cotter pins for the tie rod ends, the outer tie rods here. And I've also loosened the tie rod nuts here, so I can knock these down to remove them from the car. I got that one. And over here, got that one. Okay. Now all I need to do is remove those two bolts here, and I should be able to get this rack out of the way. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to drop this roll bar or not. I'll figure that out when I get to that point. So I did some general measurements and the inspections, and the new rack appears to be pretty much the same dimensions as the failed unit. So I'm going to go ahead and put the new rack in, and then I'm going to put the tie rod ends in after I get a rack in there. So the next thing I'm going to do is drive in the roll pin right in this area here. This will lock in the steering shaft. Here we go. And so now it's just a matter, I'm going to hook up the hydraulic lines. They've all been bled out. I am going to replace these oil seals, these rubber rings here. They look like they've gone bad. So I'm going to connect these hydraulic lines. First I want to change these rubber O-rings. And basically, you know, just kind of clean this up a little bit. Use a dental pick. Being careful not to gouge the metal, but I want to catch the rubber. Pull that away. Now this one here appears to have split a little bit. But it was still holding, I think. Odd. So I'm going to put a little petroleum jelly on these before I fit them in. So right now there's some plastic plugs there. I'm going to be removing those. And the high pressure line goes on the top. And the low pressure line is on the bottom, as I recall. I'm going to put a little petroleum jelly right here on these O-rings. And you can see me, I'm just kind of wiggling the fitting around. It helps it thread in. It's not binding up yet. And now I'll just tighten those down. Happens to be a 18 millimeter on this one. That is about as tight as I think I want to have them. And of course I'll just check for leaks when I'm done. So now all I need to do is transfer the outer tie rods onto the new rack and install them in and fill the system. So now I'm going to attach the outer tie rod in to the steering arm there. And once I tighten that up, put the cotter pins in it, then I can put the fluid in, lower it down, put the fluid in it, and then do the alignment with my string and blocks. I also have to attach this this bar here, the anti-roll bar. So I've got the tie rod ends installed back on the rack there. And I just measured it and got it approximately in that same area it should be. And you can see I also loosened these clips here that hold the boots on. That way I can rotate and make adjustments without tearing the boot. So the next thing I just need to do is connect these tie rod ends back into the wheel. For the steering arm. And just reinstall these nuts. And of course I'll use new cotter pins. Okay, I've got the steering rack installed back in the car and bolted everything back up, and I've got the string put back around the perimeter of the wheels, and I've got my block here that I'm going to use to measure the toe in, and I've got my steering wheel set center, and now I'm going to raise the car up and adjust the tie rod in so I get the same thing I had before I started. So I've got my 1 1/4 inch block right here, and I can see this wheel has to come in this way. So I'm going to carefully lengthen this connection here. Good ways to go here. Getting in the right direction there. I'm going to check this side here too. So this side needs to go the opposite direction. That one's pretty good. I'm going to check the other one now. So we're looking at this wheel here. So this has too much space, so I need to bring the wheel in. Getting there. That's pretty good. That's it right there. And so now, all I have to do is tighten these lock nuts here and move these clips over there to clamp the boot. And then I can take it for a test ride.